guys, PJ here. Today we are working on a 2016 Kia Ceed. And all we're going to do to this is put a camera in it, a dashboard camera, using a fitting kit so it is wired to the fuse box and goes on and off with the ignition key. Now, to do that, to put the camera in, you're going to get one of these universal kits that I've just mentioned. You can get these off the sort of eBay, Amazon, that type of place. And they come with all the necessary bits and bobs to get the kit in and working. So, in the kit you will have a couple of different size fuse spurs, like so. Now what these are, basically, you pull a fuse out of your fuse box, pop the fuse you removed from your fuse box in here, in this gap here, and this goes into where the fuse came from. So in effect, it doubles up the socket that the fuse came from. Yeah, it's a bit like the home mains extensions where one plug can be made into more. It does the same job as that. Okay, now you'll notice it's already got one fuse in it. That is for the camera, so leave that one in there. The slot at the end there will be for the fuse we remove from the fuse box once we've tested which accessory position fuse we will be using. The other end is a bullet connector, which quite obviously goes on the end of the power cable here. So this is your power cable you get in the kit. You do not use the one that comes in the camera box. On the end there's your male bullet connector for your power cable, and we've got an earth with a little spade under it, so you can pop it under a bolt or a nut or something. I will show you which one is easiest to use. The other end is your typical mini USB. Plugs into the camera. This fits 99% of most cameras, so universal. Quite a long cable, will normally be good enough for motorhomes, lorries, etc. So a normal family car, no problem. You also get this bit of kit. This is basically a ferrous filter, and all you do is pop it on the power cable as near to the little USB plug, the camera end in other words, as possible. Now all it does is click open. You've got two catches there. Open it up, wrap the cable around and through it, which I will show you, and that will stop or help stop interference on DAB radios. Not so much AM FM, mostly DAB radios. So put this on as near to the end as you can. Next thing we're going to do is prepare our cable for running it along the headlining of the car. So, just to help the cable when it's in the headlining not fall down from the headlining, so in other words, you don't want to be driving along, hits a large pothole, and the cable suddenly goes doink and falls down in front of your view. Not ideal. This is just a little tip. Get yourself 3 cable ties normally, wrap them around the cable, snip the end, and then cover them in tape. Okay, the reason we cover them in tape is because sometimes the end of them where you've snipped them can be quite sharp, and eventually that will rub through your headlining. Your headlining is only made of sort of a fibre material. We don't want it to catch it and start snagging it, so just cover it in tape so it's nice and smooth. Yeah, we've also put our ferrous filter on, as you can see, nice and easy. Like I say, 2 little catches. Look, you click them open, the whole thing folds open, and then you put your wire through, round and out the other side, and that is then fitted. At this point you need to be then looking at the top of the window. So we're up at the top at the moment, and normally you can get your fingers and gently just sort of flex it a little bit, the roof lining, just to get a bit of a gap there. You don't need to go at it like a bull in a china shop. You can just, you know, use a little bit of pressure, because obviously you don't want to crease it, so just be careful what you're doing with it. If you can't get it to pull down, it's because the windscreen glue's stuck to it. And what I'd recommend is get a plastic scraper, yeah, not a metal one, because obviously you've got glass behind it, and pop it up behind it, look, and just pull it down, like so. But anyway, this one's free enough to easily move it along. So what we'll do now is get our cable and just start tucking it up underneath the headlining. Like I say, you should have plenty of room. A bit tricky one-handed, so just bear with me, guys. There you go. Tuck it up out the way, all the way along, following past your mirror, look. So you want this one over here, yeah, so the little cable's hanging down. Pop it up all the way along until you get to this corner here. Okay, now this is plastic here, this screen trim, so you're going to need your plastic leverage tool. Do not use a metal screwdriver, you will damage it. Okay, so we get the tool, slide it down, not too far, yeah, and just make a little gap. At that point you'll be able to tuck your cable in along the edge here and get to sort of this position, at which point you're going to be opening the door and pulling this rubber seal off. So move all the way down to the flat area, yeah, and you can normally just sort of pull it all the way off, all the way up, like so, until you get to the corner here. Obviously just pop your cable around the corner and down. You only want it on the edge here, just tucked out of the way. Carry on until you get to the bottom, and then obviously pop your rubber seal back so it holds the cable in place temporarily. Yep. And then you're looking at this end plate on the dashboard. Now this comes off, it unclicks nice and easily and gives you a lot of nice access to get to your earth and your power. So get your your plastic leverage tool that you've got, as such, and basically ease it. We should be able to get it in somewhere. Like I say, pretty difficult one-handed. Bear with me. There we go. So we've popped it in the soft bit. You'll just sort of work your way around it. And it's on plastic clips. They will all pop. Some are tight. This particular one's very tight. It's quite a new one, like I say. 2016 model this. There you go. Pop, pop, pop all the way around. Just watch you don't snap any off. Take your time. There. And off that comes out of the way. You've now got access to a really nice earthing point. One of these two bolts, I'm going to use the lower one. These are a 12mm bolt. Take the bolt out and you can use that for your earthing point. Okay, so there we go. We've removed the bolt, 12mm bolt. Don't worry, nothing's going to move anyway. You've got another bolt here holding it and another one down here. Basically we've put a washer on it, then the ring terminal for the earth, and then another washer, just so that it doesn't spin round. Tighten it back up again, and then we'll move on to power. Now at this point I must just say, unfortunately, that due to following this guide, I will not be held liable for any damage or personal injury to yourself, damage to your vehicle, etc. through watching this guide. You do so at your own risk. It's an unfortunate side of the times that I have to put that in videos, but nowadays I do. So with that out of the way, let's go on to the power side of things. Get your power cable, thread it through the side of the dashboard here, like so. Pull your fuse box cover off, obviously. There's your fuse box. Up under there, look. And grab your power cable. There we go, like so. Then we're going to figure out which fuse we need. After we've just tidied this up, we're going to sticky tape all the cable together and pop the end cover on. Okay, so we've tidied everything up. There we go, look. You can tuck that out of the way now. There's loads of room behind here. It's not going to clatter around or anything. Just pop it out of the way. Now, time-wise, you're going to set yourself sort of about an hour to do this type of job if you're sort of DIY minded. So if you know one end of a screwdriver to another, you know, you're good to go within an hour. If you've done tons of these things, you get them done in 20 minutes, but about an hour is what you're looking at. So we're going to move now, after we put this cover on, down to the fuse box. Okay, so we tested a few circuits. Now this must be an accessory circuit that you use, nothing for ABS, airbags or anything like that. So you want an accessory circuit such as cigarette lighter type thing. Now what we're going to do is, with the ignition off, showing 0 volts, we're going to test each fuse until we find one that goes to 11.5 or 12.5 or so volts when the ignition is on. Now I've already tested this fuse box to speed things up a bit, and I'm using the third one down, 10 amp here on the far right hand side. This is an ignition switch fuse and goes on and off with the ignition. It's only an accessory circuit on this particular vehicle, so that will do fine. Please note, depending on year, build and spec level of your vehicle, the fuse box layout could be completely different, so make sure you test your fuses and check what they are for before pulling any out. You don't want an airbag warning light on your dashboard that you're going to have to get reset by the garage, for example. So I'm now going to go ahead and pull that fuse out and use that for our fuse spur. Okay, now you will notice the fuse you've pulled out, this one, has stubby prongs on it. If that's the case, you're going to need one of these mini blade fuses available from any car accessory shop to replace it. So that's a 10 amp we pulled out, there's a 10 amp we're putting in. Get your fuse spare and pop your fuse in, like so, and then put this in where you've removed your fuse from. So up inside to the fuse box. I can get you the angle there, guys, a bit awkward to video. Pop that in there, like so, and then tidy the cabling up to the side. Okay, it's a moment of truth. We've plugged our connector in, put our window screen mount on, which is just a suction cup, and we're going to turn the key and make sure this comes on. Now, it should do. I've done a lot of these, so if it doesn't, there we go. On it comes. Once you've done your initial setup, you'll notice a battery icon on most cameras, and it'll have a little zigzag through it showing that it's charging. If you have battery backup, so obviously the zigzag will go off when you turn your ignition off. So that's charging right now. We'll just quickly flip through everything and get you to the screen to show it charging. Yeah, come on, hurry up. There. You see that? A bit awkward to see. There's a zigzag there showing that this unit is charging. Basically, when you turn the ignition off, there you go. Key out. Because of the battery, it stays on for a little bit and then will go off as it should. Now, don't forget to reconnect your, to put your fuse box cover back on. There we go, off it goes. And that is how you fit a camera in a Kia Ceed. Now, if you've got any questions at all, please pop them in the comments below. And thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.